Okay, great. In the last lecture, we have seen the introduction to carrier sense multiple access with collision detection, which is mostly used in the wired network, and CSMA CA is used for wireless networks. Now, how does CSMA CD really works? Well, the contention method is used in Ethernet, and the mechanism it helps to minimize, but it does not eliminate collisions. I have already said in the previous lecture. Now, the first step is when a device needs to transmit, it checks the wire. If the transmission is already under the way, the device can tell. This is called as carrier sense. Now, why did I use the word wire? Because in this lecture, in this contention method, the medium is actually the wire. Whereas in the CSMA CA method, the medium was wireless medium. Second step, if the wire is clear, the device will transmit even as it is transmitting, as it performs carrier sense. Okay, so we have finished this step, we have finished this step. Third step, if another host is sending simultaneously, there will be a collision, right? The collision is detected by both the devices through carrier sense. Now both the devices will issue a jam signal. Both the devices will issue a jam signal to all the devices, which indicates them to not transmit any frames. Then both of the devices will increment a retransmission counter. Now this is a cumulative total of the number of times this frame has been transmitted and a collision has occurred. So the counter has a maximum number at which the device aborts the transmission of the frame. And finally, both the device calculate a random amount of time and will wait for that amount of time before transmitting again. Now, in most of the cases, because both the devices choose random amounts of time to wait, another collision will most probably not occur because the time is not same. The time is not same for both the devices, as it can vary, and that is why CSMA CD works perfectly in the wired network. This was all for the contention methods. We have seen two contention methods. To summarize, the two methods are CSMA CA and CSMA CD. CSMA CA works perfectly for wireless networks, and CSMA CD works best for the wired networks, that is the Ethernet. The CA stands for collision avoidance and the CD stands for collision detection. That's it, folks, for this lecture. In the next lecture, we will have introduction to one of the most important servers in the computer networking history, and that is the DHCP server, that is the Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. I will see you in the next lecture.